Hello, hello. This is Attorney Mike Gravelin coming to you from Chicago, as usual, and not from beautiful northern Michigan here. My fulgent background. Oh yeah. That's for you. I learned that word from my viewers, and it's rare that I get a new word, so it was fun for me. All right, today I've got I did a Canadian playlist, and I think I'm missing some videos. So, but today I've got a Canadian sovereign citizen wiping out in court. Although he thinks he wins, it's kind of frustrating. We'll go through it. It's short, and then I ran into this really cool clip of an explanation of freemen on the land, which is what they like to call themselves in everywhere except the United States. I see zero distinction between them other than the label, but that's where we are. It's all kind of fun. I even saw in the comments. I don't have my lumberjack clip. I looked for it real quick, but I couldn't find it. Short notice, so you can just hum. He's a lumberjack and he's okay. Because this reference, of course, to my outfit. Last time I wore this, somebody told me I had a Canadian tuxedo on, which is not funny. It's not funny. Totally not something a Canadian would wear. All right, let's get this thing started. From the secret headquarters of the Sovereign Citizen Patrol, initiating video production sequence. We are no longer playing. So let's get revved up. It's time for Law Talk with Mike.
No. All right, sit down, please, sir. This key. All right.
Okay, this clip I got, they title it as Freeman on the Land victory in court. There's a crest in there. It seems Canadian in every way possible. But if I missed for some reason and this is someplace else, let me know. I just don't happen to see a Canadian flag or something explicit, but I have no reason to not believe this is Canadian.
Just wait. Key. I'm here to correct a mistake by the court. Well, first of all, the court has made a mistake. Are you Wilfred Keith Thompson? No, that's not what I normally go by, no. Can I see the information? Petition affidavit in terms of person legally speaking, sir. I've tried to clarify this a few times, but apparently the level of talking. So your name is Keith Thompson? My name is Keith. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less.
Again, the volume is rough on this. It's just the where I have it with the clip. We're just down to he won't say his first and last name. His last statement was, "My name is Keith, I believe. Nothing more, nothing less." Okay, let me come.
You don't have a last name, sir? I have a family name, clan name, but that's irrelevant today. So you are not Wilfred Keith Thompson? Okay, one more time on and for the record, I am Keith. Nothing more. Then sit down, sir. I'm looking for a Wilfred Keith Thompson. Please sit down, sir. Actually, please sit down, sir. Sorry. Can't do that. I served into the court this morning. Sir, I'm looking for a Wilfred Keith Thompson. You are not that this person. Sit down, sir. Please remove this gentleman from the courtroom. Thank you. That's the person you're looking for. Please, sir, that is the person. I'm trying to remedy things. Touch me and you will be tried. I'm a peace officer. You want to dishonor a court official?
The defendant's on the bailiff's desk.
Tell me if you can tell from the seal. It looks definitely Canadian, but again, it's not like a maple leaf or that, but it looks like a provincial or something sort of seal. It certainly has that vibe to me. I just want to confirm that. Also, the demeanor of the officers, they're like so nice. She's like, "Please remove that person from the courtroom." They saunter over real nice, very gentle. It's very, it really fits for me. Let me see here. Oh wait, Canadian flag next to the bench. Thank you very much. And $5 for the guy who couldn't spot the Canadian flag next to the bench. I have the greatest viewers on the internet. Thank you.
Are you here on behalf of Mr. Thompson?
I said I was the administrator to that account.
Are you here as agent for
Could you guys please back up? Thanks.
Are you here as agent for him?
Not as agent, as administrator, much like you are administrator of this court.
Sir, you're either him or you're here as his agent to
As his
speak on his
administrator.
behalf. Are you either of those?
Yes, it's lawful.
Pardon?
Yeah, he's in common law jurisdiction, which I established as soon as I came in here this morning and reestablished again. The bailiff understood me. This other bailiff, wherever she went, she understood me as well. And this gentleman doesn't like talking.
We're going to take a recess. Thank you.
Thank you. All rise.
How long? How long, sir? I don't have all day. Thank you. I have things to do.
Oh, that's too rich. We're almost at the end here, but he said he says I don't have all day. I have things to do, as if he's important. Oh Lord, it's so good.
We'll take the court.
Yeah, actually,
This court will recess.
please note that the judge has abandoned the court. He's abandoned ship, and I, as the sovereign in this room, claim authority, case dismissed, with cause and prejudice. Have a nice day. See you later.
Okay, Annie. Okay, so that clip is old. Like 12, 13 years old at least. And, the judge takes a recess. There are two things. At the end, the judge bows. And you tell me in the comments below, I would imagine, we don't do this in the United States, but it's not shocking to me. I would imagine that that's just part of the rigmarole, just the standard operating procedure for a judge when exiting the bench. I don't think they take that as he's bowing, he's acquiescing to me and turning over authority, which, it's just wishful thinking and sort of silly. And then of course he just declares his case dismissed. I have no idea what the underlying charges are. I have no way to follow up on it. If anybody knows about that, I mean, I just saw this thing, it's ancient, but if anybody knows any follow up on that, please put it in the comments below, because people will ask me, and of course I don't know. I just saw this one. He is asking very nicely for you to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. And if you ignore Annie, you do realize that is considered capital felony treason.
Freemen on the Land.
Okay, this is kind of fun. It answers all the questions that I get in the comments constantly. The number one question I get since I started this is, has anybody ever prevailed with this? And my answer is not that I'm aware of. And it's also their answer, but it also goes through in detail. There's really nothing I disagree with here. It's actually a really good video. But I don't have the patience to go through it like they do.
Are a loose group of individuals who believe in a conspiracy theory that they are bound by statute laws only if they consent to those laws. They believe that they can therefore declare themselves independent of the government and the rule of law, holding that the only true law is their own interpretation of common law. Freemen are active in English-speaking countries, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Canada, the United States, Australia, and New Zealand.
Yes, Aaron,
in the
that's what I said.
Canadian court case Meads v. Meads,
Thank you.
Alberta Court of Queen's Bench Associate Chief Justice John D. Rook used the phrase organized pseudo-legal commercial arguments, OCA, to describe the techniques and arguments used.
I really like that phrase, pseudo-legal commercial arguments. The sovereign citizens in this country are always citing the UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code, and they're citing it to get out of like a criminal offense. It's just not applicable in any way, shape, or form. But they're actually going through and addressing each thing.
By freemen in court, describing them as frivolous and vexatious. There is no recorded instance of freeman tactics being upheld in a court of law. In refuting one by one each of the arguments used by Meads, Rook concluded that a decade of reported cases, many of which he refers to in his ruling, have failed to prove a single concept advanced by OPCA litigants. Freemen on the Land are also called Freemen of the Land and the Freemen movement. They may be an offshoot of the sovereign citizen movement. The Federal Bureau of Investigation.
That's interesting. I don't know why they would. I don't really take issue with it, but they say it's an offshoot of the sovereign citizen movement. I don't know which one was first, but I see no distinction between sovereign citizen, freeman on the land, or these Moorish Americans, other than maybe a little spice. The Moorish Americans make up the fact that they're indigenous or they're part of Morocco or whatever. That's extra stuff. But when you get to substance and why the laws don't apply to them, they all say the same nonsense.
Investigation, FBI classifies sovereign citizen extremists as domestic terrorists, and states that these groups may refer to themselves as freemen. Freemen believe that statute law is a contract, and that individuals can therefore opt out of statute law, choosing instead to live under what they call common, case, and natural laws. Under their theory, natural laws require only that individuals do not harm others, do not damage the property of others, and do not use fraud or mischief in contracts. They say that all people have two parts to their existence, their body and their legal person. The latter is represented by the individual's birth certificate. Some freemen claim that it is entirely limited to the birth certificate. Under this theory, a strawman is created when a birth certificate is issued, and this strawman is the entity who is subject to statutory law. The physical self is referred to by a slightly different name, for example John of the family Smith, as opposed to John Smith. Many freemen.
Yep, this is straight up what the guy that was in front of Lenice Bryant the other day was saying. This I woman Angela up in Sheboygan, which by the way is not far from Canada either. she's straight up Freeman on the Land principles there. Yeah, Sheboygan, they're about at the bridge, and if you go about another, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes, you're in Sault Ste. Marie.
Beliefs are based on idiosyncratic interpretations of admiralty or maritime law, which the freemen claim governs the commercial world. These beliefs stem from fringe interpretations of various nautical-sounding words, such as ownership, citizenship, dock, or birth certificate. Freemen refer to the court as a ship, the court's occupants as passengers, and may claim that those leaving are men overboard. Freemen will try to claim common law as opposed to admiralty law jurisdiction by asking, "Do you have a claim against me?"
Yeah, which is fun. They think that there's common law and admiralty law, which is a false dichotomy. It's just there's law. If something falls under admiralty, it's because you're on a ship or like out in the ocean or something like that. Generally speaking, that's how that jurisdiction is established. And if it's anything else, the common law is just part of law. It's the decisions. That's all. Often decisions interpreting statutes, so it's all blended.
This, they contend, removes their consent to be governed by admiralty law and turns the court into a common law court, so that proceedings would have to go forward according to their version of common law. This procedure has never been successfully used. Freemen often will not accept legal representation. They believe that to do so would mean contracting with the state. They believe that the United Kingdom and Canada are now operating in bankruptcy and are therefore under admiralty law. They believe that since the abolition of the gold standard, UK currency is backed not by gold but by the people or the legal fiction of their persons.
Why do they believe this is the question that they don't answer and I can't answer? But yes, this has been my experience. Exactly what they're saying is a nice summation of this crazy. Why do they make up these things? I have no idea. There's no basis for it whatsoever, but this seems to be what they think.
They describe persons as creditors of the UK corporation. Therefore, a court is a place of business, and a summons is an invitation to discuss the matter at hand, with no powers to require attendance or compliance.
That was Angela all over again in front of Judge Gauthier in Sheboygan or Presqu'île, whatever. He does both. And they had that very exchange. He said, this is not an invitation.
They may believe that the government controls secret bank accounts in their name as part of this theory, which may be accessed to pay off debts. None of the beliefs held by freemen have ever been supported by any judgments or verdicts in any criminal or civil court cases anywhere.
Thank you, Secret
An English solicitor, writing anonymously, commented, "Strategy might give lenders pause, of course, because litigating against awkward characters isn't much fun. But given how flimsy the freeman legal arguments are, The pause needn't be long. I've seen a transcript of a hearing in which a debtor tried to rely on the freeman defense. It was over as soon as the judge asked. I can imagine the withering tone. Are you planning to persist in this defense, Mr. Jones? Freemen believe that since they exist in a common law jurisdiction where equality is paramount and mandatory, the people in the government and courts are not above the law, and that government and court personnel therefore must obtain the consent of the governed. Freemen believe that those government employees who do not obtain consent of the governed have abandoned the rule of law. They believe this consent is routinely secured by way of people submitting applications and through acts of registration. They believe the public servants have deceived the population into abandoning their status as freemen in exchange for the status of a child of the province or ward of the state, allowing those children to collect benefits such as welfare, unemployment insurance, and pension plans or old age security. Freemen believe that the government has to establish joinder to link oneself and one's legal person. If one is asked whether one is John Smith and one says that is so, one has established joinder and connected the physical and human persons.
This was interesting to me. I've seen it play out in a bunch of the videos that I've done, but it's neat to see in this. When I first saw this video, I clicked on it. What I thought it was going to be is a pro-sovereign citizen, pro-Freeman on the land thing. I thought, oh boy, here we go. This should be funny. And then I watched it and I'm like, no, this is rational and it's good. It's a nice, to the point summary of the situation.
The next step is to obtain consent. Statutes are merely invitations to enter a contract, and are only legally enforceable if one enters into the contract consensually. Otherwise, statute laws are not applicable. Freemen believe that the government is constantly trying to trick people into entering into a contract with them, so they often return bills, notices, summons and so on with the message "no contract, return to sender." A notice of understanding and intent and claim of right is a document used by freemen to declare their sovereignty. The signed document, often notarized, is sent to the Queen and possibly other authorities such as the Prime Minister and police chiefs. It usually begins with the words, "whereas it is my understanding," and goes on to state their understanding of the law and their lack of consent to it.
Oh, that's just so them. Whereas it isn't my understanding. Who cares what your understanding is if it's wrong? They think that's authoritative. If your understanding is simply wrong, then what does this mean? I know that's nitpicky, but it just starts on the dumbest foundation possible.
The British publication Benchmark has asserted that freemen's beliefs are based on misunderstandings and wishful thinking, and have not been successful in any courts anywhere.
Here at Law Talk, we like to have fun with... Well, there you have it. I just thought that was kind of fun. I got that short clip, and then I ran into that. And I might use this for reference because I get those same questions again and again. Why do they think this? Have they ever been successful? I've answered it. I don't know why they think it. They made it up. Have they been successful? No. But it is nice to have something to refer to and say, well, and other people agree with me. And I really appreciate you guys. I wasn't going to do a video today, but I thought I'd just squeeze one in. It's Saturday. I'm going out in a little bit, actually. But I was like, I miss everybody. And I had a couple clips ready. I'm like, I'll just do this. So thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Be safe. Silly stuff that happens in court and every once in a while and completely by accident, I assure you, you might learn something. Thanks for watching.